Welcome to Fun Science with Rohini. In this series of 10 days of Tell Me Why, I'll be discussing the science behind everyday routine things which we take for granted. The first thing I would like to discuss today is why do we eat cooked food? The obvious answers are to kill germs, to make the food more easy to digest, and to make the food more appealing, appetizing, and the flavors are supposed to inspire you. It also works as an antidepressant. But apart from all these reasons, there's one very important reason why we eat cooked food, because in the entire animal kingdom, we are the only species that consume cooked food. This is because cooked food provides a lot of calories, that is, a lot of energy in one small meal. So if you eat a good meal at the beginning of the day, you are stuffed with enough calories and energy to last you for hours on end. This free time, wherein you're not running behind food or trying to satiate your hunger or trying to gather more food, you have a lot of free time because you have a gush. You are stuffed with calories and there's a lot of energy left in you. You can use that for fruitful, productive things, supposedly fruitful, productive things. And that's how civilizations were built. If you are consuming raw food, let us say you are on a fruit diet for days on end, it's okay if you're there on a fruit diet for 3 months, 4 months, whatever, but you have to eat a lot of times than when you're eating a good heavy breakfast made of cooked food. You have to consume food more times during the day, so the time you spend on eating is more comparatively when you are eating raw food like fruits and when you eat cooked food. And cooked food provides lots of calories and energy, which gives you lots of free time to pursue your interests. That is the reason why we eat cooked food. Now, I will also narrate a classic experiment, and that is called classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov wanted to see how much his dog salivates on being presented with food, on being served food. Meat powder was the food. So he put a test tube into the cheek of the dog. And he expected the dog to salivate when it actually looks at the food and when it eats the food. But surprisingly, Pavlov found that dog started salivating at his assistant's, on hearing Pavlov's assistant's footsteps. And the assistant always bought food for the dog. So the dog associated the sound of the assistant's footsteps with the thought of food, and it started salivating. Now, Pavlov was very intrigued with this, so he decided to conduct an experiment. In this experiment, he took a bell and he rang it in front of the dog. The dog did not respond as usual. It did not salivate. It did not respond in any way. It was neutral. And then he started ringing the bell each time the food was served. And he repeated the experiment, that is ringing the bell, serving the food, ringing the bell, serving the food, for so many days that the dog associated the ringing of the bell with food. And next time when the bell was rung just like that, without any appearance of food or without serving any food, the bell was just rung and the dog started salivating. And this Pavlov termed as conditioning. That is, the dog learned a new behavior. It learned to associate the sound of the bell with the plate of food. And because this was learned response, it was called Pavlov response, or Pavlovian conditioning. In this, by doing this experiment, Pavlov, a physiologist who excelled in digestive system, proved that new behaviors can be learned, and if they can be learned if two stimuli like ringing the bell and serving the food are close together in time. If you ring the bell in the morning and serve the food in the evening, you won't learn to associate the bell with the food. So learning behavior, you can learn something, you can learn new things when two things are close together in time. And this is classical conditioning experiment by Pavlov. And this is also classical in the sense that it was the first systematic study to understand the basic laws of learning or conditioning. And this is also associated with serving food to a dog. So today, our discussion, the science discussion about food, I suppose, has inspired you enough. Happy eating. Thank you.